Episode 12 starts with Sid saying that everyone in the stadium will be talking about Shadow, the mysterious Eminence. Now all have forgotten about the background character Sid. He'll return today. Maybe he'll go soak in the hot spring and... However, that magic sigil from before appears below. He wonders, what is this? A giant door? He stares at it for a bit, then teleports away from it. However, it follows him. So he continues teleporting, but it keeps following him. This is not what they mean when they talk about a door that can go anywhere. He's getting the feeling that if he ignored it, it would follow him all the way to the inn. He thinks about Aurora from last episode, and says, well, fine then. Let's just get this over with, and enters the door. Back at the stadium, Alexia is wondering, what is that? A giant door? The Archbishop says impossible. Does this mean the sanctuary responded to Shadow? Rose asks, what does he mean by responded? He tells him, well, as you know, today is the one day of the year that the door to the sanctuary is opened. But a door appearing in the middle of the trial? Nothing like that has ever happened before. Alexia tells him she heard that the door to the sanctuary was hidden inside the cathedral. The Archbishop tells him that the word door doesn't refer only to one door with the physical manifestation. As they can see, it changes shape and location at will, taking on the most appropriate form to respond to those who seek it, and those who are worthy to pass through it, which is to say there is a forbidding door, a beckoning door, and a welcoming door. He cannot say which door they're seeing now. Then freaks out because the door is opening. He tells his men to get the congregation outside. Don't let anyone near that door. So the guards tell everyone that the goddess's trial has been cancelled. The Archbishop turns back to the ladies and tells them he doesn't want to risk putting them in any danger, so let's exit the stadium and, however, Rose and Alexia grab their swords. The Archbishop is confused, but they all turn to see Shadow Garden standing against the wall. Alpha apologizes, but she requests that they behave themselves until the door is closed. Then tells Epsilon that it's up to her now. Epsilon tells her got it, then tells Delta to follow her. As Alpha walks past Alexia, Alexia says, so that's Alpha? She's strong. Stronger than Iris. They land in front of the door and enter. The Archbishop tells them to stop. Keep out of their sanctuary. Rose asks, what are they trying to do? Epsilon tells him all they want is for them to be good little girls and stay there until the door is closed. But they'll be taking the body with them. He asks, what could they possibly be planning to do in the sanctuary? He tells them it's not about what they do there, it's about what they find there. Alexia and Rose grab their swords, but Epsilon takes Natsume as hostage and tells them one more step, and who can say what will happen to this woman. But Natsume is obviously enjoying the situation. Alexia tells Rose they could just let her die, but Rose tells her no. Natsume tells him don't worry about her, she'll be fine. Epsilon notices that everyone can enter the door, but it won't stay open forever. So she tells the rest of the group they're going inside, bringing the Baldy and the woman as well. Baldy tells them if they must go, then go without them, to the afterlife. Then tells Executioner Venom to kill her. He attacks Epsilon and slices her boobs off. He gets a flashback of Shadow asking if she wants power. She thinks to herself that she will claim victory over nature. She refuses to be exposed. Not here, not now. She slices Venom into pieces, then asks Baldy if he saw anything. He tells her no, not a single thing. Exia wonders what would he have seen. Rose agrees, it all happened in the blink of an eye. However, they notice the door is closing. Exia remembers Shadow telling her to stay out of it. She refuses, then jumps into the door, followed by Rose. As Alexia and Rose exit the door, they crash into Beta giving everyone their orders. Rose asks if everyone is alright. Alexia tells Rose to move. Natsume asks Alexia to stop touching her in such questionable places. Alexia tells her she's not touching this jiggly sack of meat for fun, okay? Beta laughs. Is she jealous? Alpha walks up to them and stares at them for a bit. Alexia gets up and apologizes. She tripped and fell. Then there was a door right in front of her, so she couldn't stop herself. Alpha tells her to do as she likes. It may be that she should learn this as well. Alexia says, so this is the sanctuary? Alpha tells him according to legend, this is the place where they sealed away the left arm of Diablos, after he was defeated by the hero Olivier. The Archbishop asks, what about it? Are they listening to a fairy tale coming here to find the arm? Alpha tells him that sounds like fun too, but they're more interested in learning about the cult of Diablos. However, she knows that he can't answer their questions. That's why they came here to see it themselves, to find everything from the beginning, the truth that was buried in the dark corners of history, the statue of the great hero Olivier. Alexia asks the hero Olivier, but she thought he was a man. Alpha tells her that they have a general grasp of all the facts. They know the true history, the cult's real objective, and they know why this hero has the exact same face as her. The Archbishop says she's a possessed elf, but she wasn't compatible. She should be dead. Epsilon says so he does know about them. They know the truth about the possessed as well. They must be quite the nuisance to a church that's so eager to maintain the current way of things. Rose asks what on earth are they talking about. Alpha tells them that they also suspect the cult's goal is not merely to bring the demon back to life, but they aren't yet certain. So why don't they all go see it for themselves? Then overwrites the gate. There was once a great battle here. Many lives were lost. The door begins to open, and the room lights up. The Archbishop says this is impossible. How did she turn it on? She tells him the magical powers of the demon and the warrior's world together, and that vortex locked away the memories that had nowhere else to go. This place is a graveyard, the final resting place of ancient memories and demonic grudges. Now let us begin their journey into the world of fairy tales. Sid then comes out of a door and tells someone hi. We see that it's Aurora. Sid asks, so, is she the one who summoned him here? She asks, summoned? She doesn't think she did, but that fight they had was fun. Sid agrees, he had fun too. She tells him her memories are incomplete, but she's pretty sure he was the strongest. If only he had been around in her day and age. So, how did he get here? Sid tells her there's this door that wouldn't stop following him around. So, he gave in and went through it, and now he's here. By the way, does she happen to know how to get out of here? She tells him she's not sure. She doesn't have any memories of ever leaving. Sid brings up, but she just fought him. She tells him she woke up, and she was there. That had never happened before, as far as she remembers anyway. Sid says, I see. Well, that doesn't help. Guess he'll start by trying to go back the way he came. She tells him to wait a moment. There's a beautiful woman right in front of him. What is she wearing? He says she's in a straitjacket. Maybe he could start by helping her out of it? Sid asks so this wasn't part of some training. He used to do something like that back in the day. Then sets her free. She stretches. She's finally free after 1,000 years. Now, the two of them essentially want the same thing. He wants to get out. She wants to be free. Right? Sid tells her yeah. So, she suggests for them to work together. Sid tells her okay, but she's never gotten out before, right? She tells him but she does know how to free herself. This sanctuary is a memory prison, created from ancient battles. If they go to its center and destroy its magical core, then she will be set free. Sid asks, just her? She tells him just her. Or that's what she'd like to say. Once the core is destroyed, everything will disappear. He should be able to leave then as well. Sid asks, doesn't that mean there's no more sanctuary? She tells him who cares. Is that a problem? Sid tells her guess not. She tells him, alright, it's settled then. Also, she knows he's already noticed this, but they can't use magic. They're close to the center of the sanctuary. He can try and work his powers, but they'll be absorbed. Sid tries it, and sure enough. But that's not a problem. He's good at breaking stuff. She tells him how reliable. By the way, she's just a weak, delicate damsel in distress. She always wanted to see what it was like to have a gallant knight to protect her. Sid tells her she doesn't seem all that distressed to him. Now that he's thinking of it, what will she do once she's free? She tells him she'll vanish into nothing. After that, Alexia is asking, what is this? Alpha tells her the memories of the Hero Olivier that have been locked up in the sanctuary. Long ago, the cult gathered orphan children in this place, and used them as guinea pigs in their experiments. Most of the children's bodies rejected the treatments, and they died. Only a small handful of girls survived. Sid is then asking, where are they? She tells him inside a memory. He asks, hers? She tells him she does recognize it. Sid notices a girl ahead of them. He thinks she's crying, and she looks just like her. She tells him just a coincidence. He asks, why does she think she's crying? Tells him she doesn't know, she probably wet the bed. Sid asks, so what now? She tells him if they want to move forward, all they have to do is end this memory. She grabs the child, and tells her that crying won't change anything, then slaps her. Alpha continues her story. Olivier was one of the few children who were compatible. Alexia asks, compatible with what? Alpha tells her Diablo cells. That's what they call them. The cult was performing experiments to implant demon cells in children. The Archbishop tells them that there was no other choice. If they were going to fight the demon, they needed power. Alpha tells them that's the cult's excuse. Whatever their real intentions were, the fact remains that Olivier did sever the demon's left arm. Alexia asks, is she saying that it's not just a fairy tale? Alpha tells her she's welcome to think what she likes. Even the things they're seeing now, in the end, they still don't know how much of it is true. Memories fade with time, and are replaced with new ones. In any case, once Olivier had matured and gained the power of Diablos, she was given a mission. The mission that she was given was to extract new cells from Diablos. She remained obedient, even after she had obtained her powers. She believed that if she completed her task, it would lead to a world where people could live in peace. But the cult had a different goal in mind. No matter how many parts she cut off, the demon still lived. The cult used powerful ancient artifacts to immobilize the left arm. They cut into its flesh, drew its blood, and researched it, all to gain the marvelous life force contained within the Diablos' cells. What they created in that process were these, but the side effects are too strong. This is not what the cult truly sought. They're teleported to a research lab containing the arm. The Archbishop says how dare they? They would expose this of all places. She's just a low-life descendant of a guinea pig. She has no right to know these things. It was said that with its crimson sheen, it looked just like the blood of Diablos. A single taste of it would grant tremendous power and a body that never grows old. Alexia and Rose ask, does she mean they gain ageless immortality, and that's what the cult is really after? Alpha tells them to look at their friendly priest Nelson, and that man over there. Does anyone else see a striking resemblance? He was there. She thinks he should have some wonderful stories to tell them. What is the name of this drug? He tells her beads of Diablos. She thanks him, but there was a problem. This drug had two major flaws. The first flaw is that the beads of Diablos must be taken at regular intervals or the effects wear off. She would guess about once a year. The second is that they can only be produced in very small amounts. Then asks, in 1 year? He tells him they can make about 12. Alpha says, come to think of it, she believes the highest ranking organization in the cult, the Knights of Rounds, contains 12 members. A coincidence, perhaps? To this day, they have yet to perfect the beads of Diablos, and he assumes the keys to their perfect drug are in the immobilized demon's limb and the hero's descendants. People like her, the girl with Olivier's blood running thickly in her veins. Isn't that right, Sir 11th of the Rounds? Nelson tells him every single member of the cult wants the power and eternal life you can gain from those beads. And, indeed, he is one of the chosen Knights of Rounds, Nelson the Avaricious. However, Delta stabs him through the chest. Epsilon reminds her that they told her not to kill him until they got all the information out of him. Delta begins to apologize to Lady Alpha. She thought it would be better if she hunted him. She hunted boars in the mountain once. Alpha tells her enough. And remember what she's constantly telling her? Always make sure that their prey is actually dead. They are then teleported into a pure white room. Beta doesn't see Epsilon or the others. Alpha says they've been separated. This must be another feature of the Sanctuary security system. Nelson tells him that the Sanctuary is their territory. They will rue the day they turned against the cult. Now, feel their wrath. Then, the episode ends. Some personal thoughts. There is a lot of exposition and backstory this episode. It turns out that the members of Shadow Garden, or at least the high-ranking ones, are descendants of past heroes, which can help to explain why they are so powerful. I would assume next episode is going to be following the three groups, Alpha's group, Epsilon's group, and Sid and Aurora. I wonder if Alexia and Rose are going to try and join Shadow Garden after all this is done, or at least become partners, because obviously Shadow Garden isn't just going to let them go with all this information they have. I'm looking forward to next week. That's about it. So yeah.